This is where we might address any gaps in the research. So when we're thinking about gaps in the research, or things that we're looking at, and let's say we think about something like, hey, how come they're not thinking about it this way? How come they're not addressing a particular thing? Or you've looked at these 3 research studies, or maybe 4, and you've responded to each one of these findings, and you think, hey, how come they're not asking the following question, right? How come they're not considering the following thing? It could be a number of, or an amalgamation of a lot of those types of things that you see. Doesn't mean it has to be proven, right? But your question is a question that maybe hasn't been addressed yet. Just based on these findings here, what kind of questions maybe perhaps remain to you? That could be the same thing as future research. So if we look down here at one of our samples, we'll notice that you can do this in several different ways. And of course, that's completely up to you. So we're going through here. Okay, now I think from all of my extended research, there should be more evidence as to how people's biological makeup is harder to control, and explain what ways to manage and contain it. I think that it could be worrisome for people, right? So now we're kind of like reflecting back, kind of discussing what he's just discussed. And he says here, all in all, to the question, is murder committed and caused from nature or nurture? The answer would be neither, right? But in this paragraph here, saying there's some things here that need to be, I think there should be more research on ways to give people the guidance as they act on their free will to suppress their violence and criminal behavior, right? So here's that more research. Here's kind of what I found. Here's all this extended research I've done. And so this is kind of where researchers need to spend a little bit more time and thinking about that, because I wasn't able to answer my question, right? It's not necessarily a nature versus nurture scenario in this particular case, but there's a mix of things which he addresses in this particular paragraph here. And you could do obviously something similar, or however your data, right, your results of your study and how you see those results, are they gelling together, or is there still some issues? All right, so here for our second example, for future research, I would like researchers to consider asking more questions about the future of sustainability in interior design and architecture. Asking about what the future will look like without big moves made in becoming sustainable. I think that if researchers focus more attention on what the future holds and put into perspective how bad it could get, I feel the more people would start considering becoming sustainable. So based on everything that she's discovered, right, in her research, we're not thinking about the future so much. Maybe we're talking about it. Maybe it's more in the present and more in the now, but we need to be thinking about and asking more questions about the future of sustainability and what that looks like, right? And what that means and specifically in her case for design and architecture. So these are some great ways that you can formulate questions to leave your audience, right, who's reading this, with things that researchers should continue to kind of think about, ponder, those types of things, right? So let's flip back here real quick. And then your conclusion is basically you review and you reflect, and then your final thoughts on the topic. And those are, you can restate the question that you attempted to answer, like we just looked at in one sample. Hey, my question was this, and the answer is neither, right? And that's okay. You don't have to have a definitive answer. It could be something where like, hey, I was trying to find out very, very specifically, what about this one thing? Is it this thing or this thing? Right. And this particular student, when it comes to the making, kind of like the making of a murderer, if you will, he was hoping to find one specific answer. Is it nature or is it nurture? And it's kind of neither. And he brought up this, one of his sources talked about free will. And so he brings that in to kind of wrap up everything. All right, so that's it about a nutshell. I know we're finishing things up this week, so I'm not going to inundate you this week. Let you guys kind of continue working on your work. And I will continue working on my work. I'm a little behind still in the grading, and I will get that caught up this week for you guys. If there's anything that you need, do not hesitate to reach out to me. All right, guys, above all, stay safe, stay awesome.